I love using public domain images for print on demand. You can use old vintage pictures like castles and vintage old people. You can also use children's illustrations. And in this video, I'm going to be walking through where you can find such pictures. Why is this pig getting a haircut? No one will ever know. There's also old maps. There's also old pictures of animals. So in this video, I'm going to walk through, I've got two resources where you can find public domain images from old books specifically. And they're pretty high quality images. The scans themselves are pretty good. I'm also going to talk in this video about how to use the images, because I've had feedback from people that say, you know, the public domain images are great, but how do I actually use them? So I've got two strategies as well on how you can use public domain images in order to make some sales on print on demand. I still don't know what this is about, but I love it. Okay, let's jump in. All right, the first site is called oldbookart.com, and it's a free website, and it looks like it's run by like one person. And so I don't want to criticize this website because it's run by a human being who's doing the best they can on it, and it's a little bit clunky at times, but that's okay. I can live with that. Old Book Art provides free illustrations, and this person also has a store here on Zazzle as well, where they're selling some of these items. So just be careful if you're selling print on demand on Zazzle and you want to use these images, just maybe double check the store first so you're not stepping on somebody's toes. We'd want to be respectful of that as well. There's a couple ways you can look up galleries on this site. There's an Explore Galleries button right here in the middle. There's also a Galleries button at the top. There's also galleries on the right-hand side. There's categories and gallery pages. And then there's some visuals here as well. And the visuals are pretty limited at the start. There's only like 20 or 30 or so pictures. But on the right-hand side, there's categories. So I'm just going to click on the children category, for example. And we can see here there's two books. One is The Real Mother Goose, and then one is The Flower Children. I'm just going to pop open the Real Mother Goose one. It's a little bit slow to load, but again, it depends on your computer and your internet speed. But these are really nice, high quality images from a book. So you can't really argue with the quality of the scans here. These are fantastic. And we can see here there's just a basic picture. You can right click it to save. You could also click the full screen, and then you can click exit full screen by hitting the escape key, and that brings you back in here. You can also scroll through the images and you can see different images. It actually plays through as a slideshow. I'm not actually pressing any buttons right now. So you could scroll through an album just by simply hitting the little slideshow button. That's pretty cool as well. So it's pretty fun to look through these old images. Another type that I really like is, as I scroll down to the gallery pages, the first one says Alpha Portland Cement Company Blueprints. That's pretty neat. They've got these old blueprints here as well. I'm just going to pop open one just so we can see it in a bit more detail. And we can see here this is concrete gate posts, and it's a pretty high quality scan of a blueprint of gate posts. Here's another one for a tennis court, which I really like as well. The other website that I like a lot is called FromOldBooks.org. And again, it's a website that I don't want to criticize the layout on it because these are free images and they're high quality scans. So I'm just going to say it's a little bit clunky at times, but I can live with that because, hey, it's free, and I'm very appreciative that this person's gone to this much trouble. There's basically little buttons here on the top, and again, there is a donate button, so if you consider, that you're getting value out of this, you may want to consider the donate button. I'm not affiliated with this in any way. There's also a browse button here, and there's just images right on the front page you can click on and get in more high res, scan. You can open them up and see that there's a res scan here, and then you can click the downloads here, different resolutions. So I'm going to click on this one, the big one here, this 1778 by 2400. We can see that's a pretty nice high quality scan. Here's another one. It's just the letter B. Now you can see there's a watermark here on the right hand side, but when I click on the larger image, the watermark is way down on the outside of the image. So you may want to clean it up. You can also get an unwatermarked version, clicking it there. I do want to point out that there's some rights restrictions on this site. When you click on the download button here and you get to the large picture, you go, okay, this looks great, but you can buy a print size for commercial or other use, or you can get an unwatermarked edition, and it does say here, it's out of copyright, which is called public domain, so you could use this. So it's a bit weird that this person's asking for a commercial use license on a public domain item. It's a bit strange, but anyway, I just wanted to be fully honest about what I'm seeing on the website. Here's a picture of the King Henry VIII. Again, I'll click on the really big res picture, and you can see here, this looks really nice. You could use this for print on demand. Again, I would take a look here down at the bottom. It says it's out of copyright, called public domain, and you can go from there. This is pretty nice too. The scanner DPI is 1600 dots per inch, which is really high res. Anything above 300 is typically very good, and this is 1600, so that's a massive, high quality scan. So again, very appreciative of this website. There's lots to see here. Now you may be asking yourself, okay, what do I do with pictures that are this old, and how can I use them for print on demand? So I'm going to jump into two strategies that you can use to actually make sales for print on demand using these old vintage images. So the first way you could use these images for print on demand is as is, without any real modification, but just putting maybe a little bit of text underneath it where you would indicate what this is from. So for example, if this is a painting or a picture or it's from a book, you would put it down in the bottom, and then you'd have this as an art print, or you'd put it on a t-shirt or a coffee mug as is. Now, the more famous the artwork, the better the chance you'd have of making a sale. So you may not make a sale off of something like this, but if this is a picture of, for example, and I'm not an expert in medieval history, but if this was a picture of, say, King Richard, you'd put like King Richard and maybe the years that he lived down below, and then if somebody's a fan of King Richard, that's what they would have. Or if it's, Knights of the Templar, maybe you have a Knights of the Templar quote underneath or something like that, or Crusades, the Crusades. But you would use it as is. There's no humor, there's no irony. You're not taking it out of context. You're using it as is. Here's a picture of Henry VIII, so you would simply put Henry VIII underneath it, and then that's it. That's the t-shirt, that's the coffee mug. You'd use it as is. Now, the second way that you can use this for print on demand is to take this picture out of context. So you're taking it, and the reason this works is because everybody, or at least history buffs, know who this is. It's no big secret this is Henry VIII. He's a pretty, famous historical figure. So you would take this picture, you could put it on a t-shirt, but then you'd have a funny saying underneath, and it's funny because everyone knows this is Henry VIII. Here's another one where you've got two ducks and they're playing golf. It looks like he's got a little golf club here, kind of a weird little Mother Goose picture, but because it's freaky, you can make fun of that, and somebody would buy this because they know this is a Mother Goose picture. Like, it's literally two geese playing golf, right? Here's another one. Everyone knows this is a picture of some sort of a cat. It says here Caffrey cat down at the bottom, but you can make fun of this by putting something down below or above it on a t-shirt or a coffee mug or some sort of print on demand. And I wanted to throw a little bonus tip out there. A lot of times what happens is that you see a picture like this cat and you don't know what to put underneath it. And what I would encourage you to do is go online and look up funny shirts, maybe funny cat shirts, find the saying, and then find the picture to fit the saying. So do it the reverse, right? So that's an idea as well. So I hope you found that helpful. A couple websites, a couple strategies, a bonus strategy. There's all sorts of stuff here to unpack. As always, I do welcome your comments and your questions. I hope you got value out of this today. If you did, please do hit that like button. I sure do appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching. Here's another video where you can use vintage images and you can have some fun making sales on print on demand. Thanks so much.